inner critics. I'm not talking about the outer critics, because anyone who's in the game is going to have outer critics. Anyone who's actually doing anything of value in this world, you're going to be criticized because you're taking a stand for something. You know, I'm going to put songs up on YouTube and people are going to say, I hate your singing. I'm going to put songs up on YouTube and people are going to say, I hate this song. People are going to, that's going to happen because you're taking a stand for something. You're doing something. You're in the game. So we have outer critics, and that's sort of a later something that we learn how to deal with once you get in the game. For now, the biggest part of dealing with it is the inner critics. Like, raise your hand if you've got inner critics, if you've got voices when you sit down or before you sit down. Yep. Like mine for years, I had a couple for a long time. One was, you're not original enough, and one was, you're not the best. So every time like I had an idea for the song, I was like, not original. So I didn't do it. So I think these critics are often somebody else's voice that we somehow internalized, either, you know, a teacher or adult figure or a parent or someone who you deemed having power over you and really thought that what they said was truth. Said something, maybe it was an offhanded comment, who even knows? But something just like got totally lodged in there. And it's still in there. And the thing with your critics is, if you don't control your critics, they control you. So you need to have a strategy for controlling them. Now, something I want you to appreciate about your critics is they're protecting you. All of this negative stuff that's going on, the perfectionism, procrastinating, critics, it's all protecting you from what's going to happen when you get on the court. It's all keeping you safe on the sideline, or at least making you feel like you're going to be safe on the sideline. So all of these things are protecting you from the vulnerability that's going to come when you create, from the emotions that may come out, from whatever, you know, you may want to write something about your family. So it's protecting you to protect them. So I want you to just appreciate that all of these things are protecting you. Now, sometimes a critic, for me, it could just be a really big emotion like shame. It could be a really big emotion like fear. So the solution is, you need a strategy. You need a strategy. And every artist I work with has a different strategy. And it has to be something, I mean, generally it's something that involves your body. And we really, you know, I work with my clients to really find what they need. So for example, one woman I've been working with, she just came up with this. For those of you who, if you know what the ark is for the Torah, if you're Jewish, we have a Torah and we put it in an ark. And when her critics come up, she does this thing. She opens the curtain of the ark, and then she opens the ark, and then she puts all her critics in the ark, and then she closes the ark and she closes the curtain. And it's like she can't write unless she does that. And there's someone else I worked with who would always like turn down the volume. Every time it's like, nah, 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 nah. She was like, she would just turn down the volume. There's something I do. Sometimes I have my critics sit next to me. It's like, you know what? You're not going away. And I'll physically put a chair. Like, all right, I'm going to work. You're going to hang out with me here because I'm doing the work and you can hang out with me. So it's really crucial that you come up with some kind of management strategy. Someone else holds her critics like a baby. Like she just, so each of us needs something else. At different points, we need something else. Someone else I know did Kung Fu. It was always like, ah, ah, ah. So we need something else, but it's very hard to do your creative work unless you expect that the critics are coming and you figure out a way to manage them. And I do want to say, the more you do that, the less they show up. Because they kind of don't need to protect you. After a while, it's like, oh yeah, she just does this every day. She goes into her studio every day and writes. Like they don't have to keep stopping. They don't have a purpose anymore because you're not listening to them. You're not buying into them. So it goes together with the volume to overcome the perfectionism. It's like you just make a commitment to showing up and a commitment to managing your critics, and then it's like a spiral, an upward spiral. You're showing up more and the critics are showing up less.